Well, hi again guys. This is a second video. I've had a few requests just to run through a little bit of Parka history. So I'll start with the M43 pullover liner, mountain Parka. It's a two-piece Parka. This is an unissued large one with a prototype test Wolverine fur liner slipped inside it. As you can see, really nice fur. The two front pockets, the button-up neck, drawstrings at the bottom, and the front pockets are, let's just unbutton it, unlined. They're just unlined pockets in there. Turn the Parka side on. You can have a look at the profile on the back, on the side, sorry. Autofocus kicking in. There you go, it's the side profile. Button up cuffs. And the liner buttons in. That's the back of it there. As you can see, really nice neck this one. Still got the sheen on it. That's that. And also you've got the little rivets there. It's just really for adjusting the hood size, so it sits a little bit better on the hood, on the head, sorry. And that's your M43 Parka. Okay, carrying on. This is the liner that was inside the Parka. Little spec label for the size, usually on the front of them, on the hem. As you can see, there's no buttons on the neck line here at all, and this tells you that it was one of the original prototype liners. Only the very first liners had no neck buttons. So what I'll do is I'll turn the liner inside out just so you can have a look now. Okay, this is the inside of the liner, and this would be what was against your skin. Again, you can see lovely hood, lovely fur. It's in really good nick, and interestingly I always find that the Wolverine fur seems to keep the longest and keep the best. You know, you quite often see ruined wolf fur where the hide is cracked and the fur's fallen away, but Wolverine hood always seems to keep nice. Again, you can see there's no neck buttons or anything on that, and like I say, this is what designates the two things. One is there's no neck buttons, number two, it'll be Wolverine fur, or the test liners for the field Parkas. And that's that one. I'll show you a wolf for regular sort of production Parka for the field Parkas now. Okay, moving on. This is your production field Parka liner. Now interestingly, these have, like I say, the neck buttons, and just undo it, and the talon zip on the inside. You can see the fur on this again. It's a really nice example. And they also have a spec button on the front. Only the production ones have these. The test ones just have two labels, one for size and one on the back of the neck. Again, the three buttons on the hood that button it into the shell. That's the back of it, and the inside of it is basically the same, to be honest with you, exactly the same as the outside, you know, pile. Okay guys, moving on. Before the after the M43 pull-up liner, they were looking at the next designs for Parkas, and obviously they were doing prototype models before the actual Parkas. The next design was finished, and this is one of the first prototypes they did. As you can see, it's based on the M43. There's a few major differences though. For example, the pockets are wall lined. They have the same wall lining as in the M51s. The neck is different in that there are no buttons on the shell of the neck. It has a big long talon zip. The fur is on the hood, and the hood has a rim. You can see here where they've added a rim. the same rim with the wiring in as used in the M48s, and the other key feature being the legendary sleeve pocket, the left sleeve pocket. The autofocus playing me up there a little bit, and that's that. Again, this is an unissued shell. You know, I don't need to tell you how rare these ones are. They're really are. I've only ever come across two ever. One had a couple of repairs in, and this one was one I was lucky enough to pick up off a guy who was selling up. Exactly the same as the M43 from the back, a little bit longer. You can see the length of them, and there, the cut. You can see the classic fishtail design sort of emerging there from the M43, can't you? And that's that anyway. One last shot to finish. Lovely Parker, really heavy. Same cut from the same cloth as the M48s. Lovely. So next I'll do a quick shoot of the liner, because the liners, you can see the biggest jump towards M48s next. Okay, first of all, before I take the liner out, there's the first difference. Underneath the neck of the shell behind the zip, the liner actually buttons in to the neck, and you've got drawstrings on, which obviously they carried on over as an idea into the 48s. But that's a sort of close-up of the neck arrangement. Right, I'll move on to the liner now. Okay, moving on to the liner. There you go. It's very closely resembles the M43 liner. You can see the difference in the neck there and the start of the sort of tab on the M48s. You see it there? You can see the basic shape. The hood obviously closely resembles it. And if we look at the back there, you can see where they're getting the idea for the M48 from. And the last significant sort of change this side is a button loop. They now adopted the button loop to retain the cuff in the cuff of the shell, and there you can see a little bit of the satin, because these have a satin liner on the other side, and I'll now show you that. Okay, this is the reverse side, or the inside of the prototype M43/48 liner. You can see there the satin stroke rayon lining, and the beauty of it is with these pull-ons, I don't know if you've for anyone there that's had or got an M43, they're a nightmare to get on and off the pole liners because they stick to you. But the beauty is with this satin sort of rayon, it literally slides on and off effortlessly, and I can, you know, you can really see why they got the idea to put this lining on. Again, here's a close-up of the neck. You can see there where the modifications for the prototype, including the drawstrings in the neck, and it really does almost looks like an M48 Parker liner. There's the little tab in the back, just for size. Yeah, it's in lovely nick. Again, you know, I've been lucky enough to get sort of a mint example, and that's that. So on to the next Parker. After these, they developed one called the EX48, which was obviously the precursor to the legendary M48. Okay guys, moving on. After the M43 and the M43 stroke 48 prototype, this was the first true Fishtail Parka prototype. It's the EX48 one. Again, these are identifiable as always, to my knowledge, being Wolverine fur, wired hood with a rim. They've discontinued the button, the 3-button hooded liner being through the shell, so they're all internal now. That's it there. You can see the length there, and moving around to the other side. Other changes, they've carried on with the drawstrings in the neck, and they've also got one in the back of the hood now, so you could really fully shape the hood to suit the individual head. Left sleeve parka, left sleeve parka, cigarette sleeve, sorry. Nice zipper in there. The material is a strange one. It's not canvas, it's like a heavy, it's almost like poplin. The other change being obviously the cuffs. They've got elasticated sort of traditional cuff now. And that's that. So what I'll do is I'll take the shell out of the liner, or the liner out of the shell, and we'll have a little shoot of the shell next. Okay, this is with the front of the coat opened up. The other difference, of course, is the separating zip top to bottom. This is a sort of little bit of footage of the liner still in the shell. You can see the button-in design and the inside breast pocket with the spec label on. Obviously at some point some muppets decided to write on that with a marker pen. I hasten to add, it wasn't me. But apart from that, there's nothing else really wrong with it. Another nice example. So now I'll take the liner right out so you can have a good look at the liner and exactly what it's all about. Okay, this is the liner outside of the parka. This is the side that would face the shell, so it's the outside of the liner, if you like. And you can see it's like a quilted liner, similar in thickness to an M65, but it has a double layer of this quilt, and inside the quilting it's fiberglass, like a literally fiberglass padded liner. It's a very strange thing. Normal M48 hood, you can see there the transition over from the M43 and the M43 prototype, and this was the EX48, which stands for experimental, obviously, because this one again wasn't a production model, it was again a prototype. Yeah, a double layer on the top half, and this is really bizarre, because having worn other Fishtail Parkas, they're a lot heavier than this, and I've sort of surmised with friends over why this prototype never made production, and I think it's because they're not hardy enough, they're not tough enough, they're a little bit fragile. So to find an EX48 in good condition is very hard, and I think this is the only reason they didn't make it into production, and they went with a heavier pile and canvas, and probably a lot of stock left over that they had to use up, to be honest. But that's you've got the button loops obviously on the cuff as well, and again a really nice example. You know, in honesty, that's all I sort of target. But I'll turn it inside out so you can have a look at the other side. The other side of the EX48 stroke 1 liner. Close up of the breast pocket and the spec label. Again, obviously the writing some muppets put on there shouldn't be on there, but somebody saw fit to put their name on it. This one's a chocolate brown colour. They come in all sorts of different colours, to be honest. I've had 3 of these. And like a muppet I sold them, but to be honest with you, they're worth so much money it was a bit of a tempter, but this one I've sort of determined to keep. One of them was German parachute silk, which was lovely because it was like a camouflage silk. The last one I got rid of was like an orangey chocolate brown. I think it was chocolate brown and it had faded slightly, but this one's a beautiful chocolate brown. You know, there's a close-up of the woolen hood, no muffin at all, in great nick. And these are as light as a feather to wear. You know, they're really completely weightless, lighter than an M65, but warmer than an M48. If you can imagine it, it's bizarre feeling wearing one because you don't even know you got them on, but you're sweating. And that's the EX48. I nearly forgot. Last but not least, there are 2 size labels in them as well. There's one in the shell and one in the neck, and they always correspond if it's a matching pair you've got. This one's short. Come on, autofocus. Short medium, it says. Height up to 5'7", chest 38 to 39, and they did a great big range of these. I've seen long mediums, long smalls. I've never seen a large one. They've all been small or medium, and they do short, regular, and long. Interestingly, so that's the 3 different, you know, variants I've seen of each size. And these labels will always match shell to liner if you've got the originals. But it's a really lovely liner and a beautiful parka. Shame I never kept the other two, but I've still got one anyway. Right, moving on. Okay, next on the agenda is the very first production M48. Again, these are always notable because they're Wolverine fur, and heavy canvas. So that's what this is. Again, you've got your left sleeve pocket, big heavy talon zipper. Interestingly, I've seen crown locking zippers as used on the Air Force Parkas, but only in the EX48s. The first one I had with the German camo stuff had that in, a locking zipper, and they're really good. I've never seen hardly any of them. I think two I've seen ever. What's that? Quick one at the back of them. The back of it. This is another one, you know, really good nick, lovely nick. Really, I wish there were more days in a week that I could wear them a little bit more often. I do sort of rotate them. This autofocus is a pain. And that's that one. I'm going to skip to the liner. Now the liner in this is very interesting, and I've never seen another one. It's a 1952 dated silk liner, entirely silk, paperweight, and it's Japanese made. And I acquired this from a guy, and I'll give you the story while I'm looking at that. So we'll be back in 1 second. Okay, just to give you a little teaser. This the early M48s are notable by, on the main pockets they've got thick woolen liner. It's always brown pile on the really early production ones. So if you get an M48 and it's brown pile, it's one of the early ones. And brass zipper, brass talon zipper. Just there. Again, really nice nick. So brown pile Parker pockets and brass zippers, early M48. This is the liner that was on about, that's buttoned in. Now you won't have seen another liner the same as this, I'll guarantee it. And it isn't a one-off that was specially made either. I got this from a guy whose grandfather was, and there is a contract label. Now I'm told various things. I couldn't get much out of the QM museum. But that it could be a replacement, a prototype replacement EX liner, or a prototype replacement liner that never made it into production because they were so expensive being silk. But I'll close here, and we'll flick to the actual liner out of the shell completely, and you can get more of a good look at it. It's lovely, and it doesn't weigh anything. It's light as a feather. It's actually paperweight, as it says on the contract label. Okay, back on the liner outside the shell on this one. I acquired the shell on this from a guy whose granddad was a quartermaster in Japan between 1948 and 1951, and he laid his hands on this, and I must say I've never seen another one, and it has got a contract label in. That's the hood, and to feel it, there's paper inside it, and it's silk on the outside, both sides, and it's actually as light as a feather. It weighs absolutely nothing at all. It doesn't weigh anything, and it says on the label paperweight silk liner. It literally is paperweight. You can see the back of the hood. And this guy, basically, he was when he left the army, he took one of everything and put it in a footlocker, and that's where it sat for 60 odd years until he sadly passed away, and his grandson cleared it out, and this was one of the things that was in there, along with the next Parker I'm going to show you. Okay guys, this is the other side of the liner. So this is the liner, the inside that would be against your skin. Here you can see the classic M48 breast pocket. There is very faint traces of a label having been there, and it guts me that this was removed, but as I said before, it has still got the contract label on the inside. So, you know, it's all there. Oh, try and hook that out and get a better view of it. So if anyone can give me any more information on this M48 liner, I'd appreciate it. That's all the info I've got. Obviously the snap connector buttons where it snaps into the shell. But it's a beautiful liner, real stunner, and it weighs absolutely nothing. It's To give you an idea, it's about as heavy as an M65 liner, so nothing, you know, you don't even know you've got it on. And I put that inside this particular Parka because I got rid of the liner for it, just to have, you know, a home to put this one in. So, and the next Parka will be the next type of M48. Okay, next on the agenda is another M48, brass zipper, early one, just after though where they started using the wool fur, due to shortages in Wolverine and the fact I think it had become protected at some point. My guess is they were killing so many of them for fur that there weren't many left. This one came from the guy that I got the liner off, whose granddad was, and you can see the sheen on it, it's actually brand new, unissued. And the lovely thing about this one is when I first picked it up, and those of you who have ever had an unissued Parka will know, there was chalk marks up the zipper where it had come from the cutting room or the manufacturers or whatever, and there was actual chalk marks still on it. It was lovely. And it's even got, there's not a mark on it, never mind a repair. This autofocus is a real pain. And there you can see, even on the drawstrings, I've still got the bonding on them. It's that new, and it's lovely. I'll tell you what, when you wear them, it's like really crisp and almost stiff to wear. It's a lovely Parka. But we'll open it up, we'll have a look at the liner. Okay guys, as I said, with all early ones, see the brown pile pocket there and the matching brown pile liner. This is a brown pile liner. These are, I think, everything after this was due to cost more than anything, and it's reflected in the quality. The quality of any other liners and Parkas after these brown pile isn't quite as good, but that's only my opinion. They're also, I think, the warmest, because they're really, really heavy. You know you've got these on, you drag them about when you're wearing them. They're a lovely Parka though. But I'll take it out of the shell now and we'll run around the liner as well. Okay guys, brown pile liner. These are the early liners from the production model. If you get up you can sort of see. Really plush, really heavy. A good thick heavy liner with rayon on the inside. That's the elbow joint, so you can obviously assist in them moving about with these on. It must have been a nightmare fighting with them. Breast pocket with a label on the inside and the out as well. Woolen hood, completely unmarked. This really is a cracker. It's lovely. There's no stains, nothing on it at all. And that's the M48 early model Parka liner. Now we'll have a look at the other side. I'll turn it round. Okay, this is the reverse side, so the side that goes to the skin of an early brown pile M48 Parka. Showing the breast pocket, the satin rayon, the hood and button loops. On the reverse you get on these, here the top, unfortunately there's a number on it, don't ask me why, it's certainly nothing I put on there, but you have a little label there behind the neck with a red letter that indicate, they're usually the earlier ones, a little red tap, but crystal clean, lovely, a lovely Parka liner that. And that's that one. So we'll move on next to the slightly later white pile M48 liner next. Okay guys, this is another M48, this time slightly later model with wolf fur hood and the aluminium, the later aluminium zipper. Again, I don't know if you can see that or not. It's a Talon, but it's an aluminium tooth zip, and quite often these later ones were. I mean, you can see the silk liner there, but I'll just actually unbutton the liner just so you can see it a little bit clearer. Okay guys, this is just unbutton one side, and here you can clearly see the white pile pocket. So white pile pocket, silver zipper. It's a later model, but it is an M48 obviously, and you can see, I mean, it's pristine. It's a lovely one. That it took me a long while to find it. Totally unissued liner. Funny enough, it came in the other shell, so I've chopped and changed them about just so they match properly. But this is another unissued shell. I believe. I don't think it's ever been worn. It's spotless, absolutely spotless. Not a mark on it, and you can't really see with the light in here, but it's still got its sheen. It's lovely. Right, I'll take the shell off anyway, and I'll give you a close up of the white pile liner just to go through that with you. Okay guys, so this is the slightly later M48 pile liner, when the run of the brown heavier early pile liners had finished, and this you can see closely resembles the later M51, the first pattern liners. The quality is about the same as well. You know, these are nice liner, don't get me wrong. If you come across one, you know, please do pick it up. You can see that's totally spotless, lovely. And this was another article that came out of that Foot Locker after 65 years from the quartermaster. See the hood there, absolutely mint. And that's that. And I'll just turn it round so we can have a look at the other side. Okay, this is the green rayon side of that M48 liner. Breast pocket, sadly missing the outer spec label. This was removed just prior to it being released, as was the inside spec label. I think maybe being a quartermaster, he wanted to take the tags off it, but who knows. It's in brand new unused condition, and you can see it's all still creased where it sat in his Foot Locker, to be honest with you. Although I keep them on hangers and in suitor bags. And I never wear this one, to be honest with you, because I think you've got to wear them if you know, I only tend to sort of get ones the size that will fit me, which is large. Because it's not just all about having them and looking at them, you've got to wear them as well. And that's that liner. Next one will be the first pattern M51. Okay, next on the agenda, first issue, first pattern M51, again an unissued one. This one is unique in that two ways. One, it's got the M48 sleeve pocket on, and it also has an unissued Wolverine fur hood, which is lovely. And in fact, I'll put that hood up so you can fully appreciate the fur on it, because it's a cracker. 1 second, and there you go. One of probably the second one I've ever seen, Wolverine fur hood on an M51, and it's unissued, it's brand new labels on it. No, the M51, the M48 pocket on it. This is a really nice Parker. Alpaca liner, talon zipper, and there you can see that. The unissued labels are brand new labels on there. Lovely, lovely hood that. Picked that one up in Germany of all places. I'll just open the, I'll unbutton it just so you can have a look at the liner. Alpaca liner. Okay, so this is it with the shell opened up. As you can see the difference, you know, half of the reason, or the main reason they went down to the 51s was cost. And you can see the pockets, although they are lined inside with wool, they haven't got any of the heavy pile on them. But this is the alpaca liner. This is first pattern. It's like a heavy thick wool rayon on that side, and the spec is all in the back of the neck on these. But it's a nice Parker, it really is nice. You know, and in many ways I enjoy wearing the M51 probably a little bit more than the M48, because they tend to sit a little bit nicer. It's a 3-part Parker. So with it being in 3 parts, you can remove the fur hood liner out, as well as the actual liner, so you could wash the shell if you really needed to. Whereas the M48, the fur is fixed on the shell, and they're a real pig to clean, because there's hardly any dry cleaners that will clean a coat properly with fur on without damaging the fur, because it'll all fall out if you throw it in the dry cleaners and they do the fur. Right, and that's that one anyway. Okay, so this is the M51 Parker liner, first pattern, heavyweight alpaca wool. Very clean example, unissued, to be honest with you. I sort of looked around until I managed to find an unissued one. totally spotless, not a mark on it. I do wear this one on occasion, not very often though. Be warned, when you do buy them, a lot of people try and palm off the field jacket liners, and they are very similar, but the button configuration is different, and there are less buttons on a field jacket. So for those of you that are not really in the know and you're looking for a liner for your M51, make sure that is an M51 liner. If we just count the buttonholes, if there ain't this amount of buttonholes, you can always ask a seller if you're not sure. 1, 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 buttons. So you need 14 buttonholes on a Parka liner, and I think it's 12 on a field jacket. But double check if you're not sure before you buy one, because quite often the ink stamps are faded and you don't know till it turns up, and it's a long way to post it back if you've bought it from the US. But that's the liner anyway. Moving on, another first pattern, this time with a wolf hood. Okay guys, next on the agenda is another first pattern M51 and heavyweight sateen canvas. I like to have one example of everything in decent nick. This one I kept because it's quite rare in a number of ways. Number one, the colour is fantastic on it. Number two, it's got a brass zipper, which is really rare. It's a Conmar zipper. It almost looks silver in the light, this light, but it's a brass one, and it's just a really nice parka. And also because obviously I've got the Wolverine fur and the other one, I wanted one with wolf fur in it. So right, I'll just take a couple of seconds to put the hood up. Lovely hood. Okay, again, the first pattern hood, like they have to match, and this is wolf fur. I mean, look at that, what a peach. It's lovely. I'll just spin the Parka around, you can have a look at the back and the sides. And of course the other Parka I've got has got a mysterious M48 sleeve pocket on it, so this one is different in that respect, because that's not our standard. Whether somebody's had that one as a field conversion afterwards or it's a mystery, the pocket on the other Parka shell. But it's a plus because, you know, it makes it that little bit more unique. You know, again, superb Parka, really nice. What I'll do is I'll take a minute now just to take the liner out, because this liner is again is a little bit different. It's an alpaca first pattern liner, but I believe this is one of the very first early ones, and I'll show you why in a minute. Back in a sec. Okay, so coming back to the M51 first pattern liner. This is a really nice liner, and at first glance it looks like a really nice, clean and issued liner. There's a couple of differences though. It's got these like reinforcement satin on the pile side, you see, just to make it, the buttonholes that bit tougher. And if I turn it round, you can see them again on the back there, where there's an extra tab of satin rayon been put this side. And it's, you know, the buttonholes, you can feel them, they're that much more substantial when you button it in, especially around the neck, because on the first patterns you've got the hood lining thickness as well, and the first pattern hood liner is made of sateen as well, so you need, you know, sort of a substantial buttonhole to retain them all, and that's what they did on these. I don't know why that they're not on all liners. I would imagine expense, but this is a really nice liner, probably the best one I've ever come across. But I'll turn it round anyway and show you the rayon side. It's a stunner on it. And there you go, this is the inside, the rayon side of this liner, and boom, look at the shine on it. It's almost like a silk satin, different rayon altogether to the other first pattern liners I've had, and it's really lovely. It's a lot heavier, and the same sort of material as was used on the M48 liners, the rayon, the satin used. The buttonholes, they're just a lot thicker, and it's just a really nice first pattern liner. I mean, you can see the stamp there. Again, this is an unissued one. It's really, I've worn it a few times out and about, and it's just exhausting wearing it because it's so heavy. It's lovely, luscious, you know. I mean, it's these creases are really from storage, they will drop out eventually, but it's in beautiful nick. Really nice liner, and that's that's that liner. Right, on now to the last parka that I'll be showing you today, and that's the second pattern, poplin. The only trouble is with these parkas, when they're wet they used to get really heavy, so they did a revision, they came up with a lighter material, and that's going to be the next parka. Okay guys, we've come to the last parka for this particular video, and this is the 19... He says, dropping his phone, going up. This is the last parka, like it dropped onto carpet. M51 poplin, second revision. I think it's dated 53. This one is they all vary a little bit in size. This one's an XL, and I picked up the shell on eBay of all places, and I couldn't find a liner for it for ages, and then out of the blue an extra large liner appeared, unissued, so lovely, you know, and it still had the cutter's tags on as well. So this is it anyway. Brass zipper, wolf fur hood. Oh, it's in perfect condition. It's absolutely mint. I'll just take a second to get the fur out and show you. Okay, now it's a matching poplin hood, and I've handled, trust me, loads and loads of hoods. I've bought and sold quite a few over the years, improving my collection. This is the best fur I've ever found on one, and it's original as well. I'll just give the side on view. It's a lovely parka, really nice and light, good for in the summer, a poplin one, because like I say, they're a little bit more water repellent than the heavier sateen ones, a bit lighter to ride on the old scooter, and they have a freeze pile loop liner. We'll have a look at that in a second, but that's this parka anyway. I'll take the liner out now. Right, before we have a look at the liner, we're going to have a quick look at the spec label. There's two different spec labels. You get these white ones on M51s, and you also get like an ink stamp, and that's used in the neck of the shell, in the hood. So you know that's the place to look, is the hood for an ink stamp, or the left. Here's the left here, left-hand side parka pocket on the front, and that's this. Right, liner time. Okay, this is the extra large liner, M51. You can see it's like a terry toweling, a lot thinner, a lot easier to dry, and I think that was a lot of the reason they've switched to this. Obviously probably cost as well, but when they got wet they were a lot easier to dry than the pile liners, and I'll just spin it round to give you a show. Oh, there's one of the cutter's tags. I'm still on it. It's an unissued one, it's really mint. That's that, and I'll just spin it round, well, I'll turn it inside out. That's the obviously the inside of the freeze liner, and you can tell just how long a liner this is. Extra large is really a big liner, but it's funny because wearing the parka, it doesn't really feel any bigger than a large size parka. Maybe that's because of the weight. The poplin ones and with the freeze liner are a lot lighter. But that's that side. I'll just spin it round. Again, a lovely neck, but you know it's unissued. That's the matching white label, and I'd looked for this liner for so long, an extra large. Anyone who collects parkas will tell you there's not many about. And that's that. And that's the last parka I've got to show you guys. I hope you've enjoyed them. I'm not a filmmaker, so bear with me, it's only shot on an iPhone. And some of the facts may well be wrong, but to the best of my knowledge, I've sort of tried to give a down-to-earth collector's view of my parkas. And there you go, all back under lock and key, suit bagged up for another day. Ride safe and keep the faith, guys.